Okay, so I have created a brand new hunter here, and I wanted to go through the new UI that's going to be in Dragonflight when it releases. This is on the beta build and not it is subject to change, but with the latest updates for the beta build, it looks like the majority of what we would expect in the edit mode is probably done and working. So just gonna run through it real quick. I'm loading in here with default UI. I have no add-ons enabled, so I was using add-ons to kind of figure out builds before. I've moved my character to just like a less laggy section of the world, but all I have done is logged in and flown over here so we can look at the base UI as we come in. So there's a couple ways to get to edit mode. Um, you can actually click on your character and go to edit mode, or you can hit escape to go to edit mode, or open the question mark down here to then go into edit mode. So this is what you see. You can turn any of these off if you don't want to look at them or you want to look at them without. I am just going to run through how I like to set up mine because I actually end up touching every single UI element in my setup. So it kind of gives us an idea of what I can do. Sorry. Okay, so we're going to start right here with the raid frames. Before I get into it, there's actually raid frame settings inside of options, and that's where you probably want to check those out. Actually, it's in our interface, and then you scroll down raid frames. So I like to display power bars. I like to see the class colors, which means that we'll see the color that the class are represented instead of the green, yellow, red. I display pets because I often play healers, show debuffs, and then I like to see remaining health, which means we will see how much health the character or everybody in our party has left. That's all I'm going to do in here for right now. So back into the edit mode, looking at my raid frames, I'm going to make this a lot bigger. I like to run them horizontal. I actually want to combine the groups because I don't really worry about the group numbers. And I like somewhere in the middle, but we'll just keep it off to the side for now because we still have to work on everything else. So let's do party frames. So I like to have my party frames look exactly like my raid frames. I go maximum size here because I want to be able to see everybody, and I also use the horizontal layout. So I'm just going to put these off to the side for now, and we're going to position them once we have everything where we want it. Okay, so this is the talking head. This pop-up is kind of in the way. You end up seeing a lot of things over and over again. Maybe when you're first starting a quest, you want to see it so you can read along, but I just like to keep it up out of the way, up at the top. Extra abilities, I have these over here. These are going to be your like encounter extra buttons. So I just have it off to the side so I immediately know I have one. Sometimes when they're down low, you can forget you have it because it's so busy at the bottom of your screen, so you don't necessarily see that you have an extra button showing up there. So cast bar, I like to get my cast bar a little bit bigger. We'll look at this after, somewhere in the middle. And then encounter bar. I haven't really seen this trigger in anything I've done in the beta yet, but I can assume this is going to be things like your sanity and N'Zoth and stuff like that. So I like to have it right in the middle. It's usually pretty important information. Okay, vehicle button. I actually keep it over here. I like to move these up and closer together. I actually have grid enabled here. I think it is by default, or maybe because I did it on another character, but I can actually line these up dead perfect. I always just eyeball these, and then you're like looking at it, and you're like, oh no, this one's just a little lower. So you can line it up perfectly here. I also have snap, which instead of having to like try to get it lined up there right by the pixel, the snap will basically snap you into either the top sidebars of the grid. Okay, so I only have two bars enabled, and you can have up to 5 with the hidden 6th behind this little arrow here. So if we go into action bar settings, I'm going to enable 2, 3, 4, and 5. I want all these bars. I've already gone through and set up my key bindings for all of these bars, but if you want to do that, you just click on one of these and there's a quick key bind. So now I can just hover over, like I'll change this to 2, this one to 1, and then switch it back because I like 1, 2 like that. So you can just hover over it and press whatever ability you want there. Okay. Okay, so now that I have these, I actually like to keep them all together. So I'm going to switch these to horizontal instead of vertical. I'm going to put them down at the bottom, and I'm actually going to make them a little bit smaller. They're pretty big. I have a 2K monitor, and I just don't need it that big. I'm old, but I'm not old enough that I can't see this, you know? Snap those in. Okay, so this is the main action bar. Oh, and by default, it looks like it's attached to everything, but I don't want to do that. I like to bring this up to the middle. So I don't need the art on the sides, and I also don't need the scroll bar because I don't actually use that. And I like to bring this to use this kind of as like a WeakAura section. That's what I've just been doing, and I've kind of gotten used to it and really like it. So I'm gonna put this right in the middle. I still find it a little too big. And I actually might end up bringing these guys in. Excuse me. Lining this up nice. Ooh. There we are. And I'm going to put the cast bar down a little longer because I want to get my utility bars, that I call these, up in here as well. So I'm going to bring this a little bit smaller than that. Maybe one more 60, yeah. Just enough that I can read the font. Make them small. I'll come in here. And then I want my cast bar below. Okay, and then my pet bar, I'll just keep it down here. And then stance bar. So stance bar is things where you'll see, like if you're on a rogue, you'll see your stealth button. If you're on a druid, you'll see your different forms. And then pet bar is something you'll see on like a hunter, a shaman, a DK, warlock. They have pets. And then the possess bar. I actually haven't seen this yet in anything I've done in the beta, so I just keep it down here because I'm sure it'll be relevant eventually. I have the general layout here. I'm going to bring down my raid frames, position them like that. You can also mess with this to see what it will look like when you have 25 or 40 people in the raid. So I'm probably going to have it set up like this. What does it look like at 25? What does it look like at 10? Yeah, I'm okay with that. You know, as long as it's skinny, maybe when I'm in a smaller group, I'll adjust it on the go. I actually do something super weird. I like to have my buffs right by my character. I got this when I was using LVY. I'm gonna grow to the right. Makes a little bit more sense. We're gonna grow up. I'm gonna limit my things to 5 so it lines up better with my character frame. And I'm going to do the exact same thing with my debuffs, just right beside. Oh, this one is going to grow left. We're going to limit this to 5. It's not showing correctly here that it's going to grow up, but it does do that. Even though it doesn't visually look like it's growing up here, it does when you're actually playing. So I actually have this lined up a little too snug here. I'm going to move that over so I can see that those buffs better, which means I have to move all this over. There we go. Okay, and then we have, I like to use the larger frames. This is the boss frames, and these are the arena frames. I just like nice and big so I can see it. And they do have the cast bars there. There's a setting to turn the cast bars underneath or to the left or right. My HUD tooltip I just bring out behind my objective pane, which is there. It's really awesome. You can actually move the objective tracker now. You couldn't for a long time, and I like this location, but I know a lot of people have opted to move their objective pane over to this side of the screen, so now you can do that no problem. Very nice. There's some shortcomings to this, like it doesn't let us actually move this raid members bar, so if you put something here, this could end up blocking, like your objective plane could end up blocking this if you need to use it. Also, it doesn't look like you're able to move this micro bar or the bag. But something I want to mention about the bag while I'm looking at it is it actually has this new option now to convert to separate bags or convert to the combined unit bag. So they have that built right in now, which is really awesome. Okay, so the last couple things, and I actually lied when I said that I touch every single element because I don't actually do much with the chat box down here. Most of the settings are actually locked in this general tab, so all you can do in the edit mode is move it around. Oh, you can resize it. Okay, there you go. Or resize it. And then the map. I like to actually leave my map where it is, but you can change whether the header is on the top or bottom if you prefer either or. And then some people like to use the rotating map where true north will actually be where this double arrow is and not at the top. So I like my north to be up at the top, just because that's what my friends use, so if we're ever communicating a location, we're all on the same page. I'm going to call this layout 00. It's my master layout. There we go. All right, now that I think the layout is exactly how we want it, I am just going to cast my mount here so we can look at the brand new cast bar. We can see it also on our target. Looking good.